Welcome to Stogie Geeks, episode 9. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Stogie Geeks Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian.
I'm your co-host, Tim Margarini.
And we're here smoking cigars. Almost in the yard, not really. We're in the yet-to-be-named studio for 2012. The studio formerly known as Studio B.
It's too cold in the yard, man.
It's too cold in the yard. It has been kind of chilly here lately.
Oh, hell yeah. So
welcome, everyone, to this edition. We're going to smoke some cigars, we're going to drink, and we're going to call it a show. It's basically how it works. We have some very special guests. I'll start here in the studio. Of course, the one, the only, Stogie Santa is in the house. Welcome, Stogie Santa.
Hello. Good evening.
So we started this episode, and Stogie Santa, we made a decision about what cigar we're going to smoke, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. I want to introduce our special guest coming to us via Skype. We have Chris and Ben from Nice Tight Ash. Say hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
No, wait. Which one's Ben? Which one's Chris? Sorry. Okay, ready? Ben, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, now Chris, say hello.
Hello.
Excellent. So, guys, thank you very much for coming on the show. We're, of course, big fans of your site, nicetightash.com. And we're honored to have you here on the show, smoking cigars with us. And we'll go around. We're gonna talk about what we're smoking here in the studio. Then we'll cut to you guys and talk about what you guys are smoking. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
So we were gonna do a sort of the forbidden fruit on this episode, and there was much debate as to what cigar we were gonna smoke. We couldn't make up our minds.
Emails have been flying all week. So.
I don't understand why we couldn't make up our minds, but we couldn't. So. Then we decided we were going to smoke some Cuban cigar to be named later. And then we got into the workshop, and Stogie Santa handed us an Unbanded.
A sexy-looking Unbanded.
Yes. Tim, make sure you get close enough to your microphone. I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little closer. There you go. Not that. Okay, right there. How's that?
All right.
So what do we smoke? So we got the... Stogie Santa Unbanded is what we're smoking tonight.
It's fantastic.
Which you said he led in with it's not a Cuban.
Yes.
I think we could have guessed that.
We know it's a 5x50
Maybe.
Robusto.
It is.
I think we've determined it's an Ecuadorian wrapper at this point.
I made some guesses which were wrong, as usual. Not that that's news to
You
anyone.
weren't that far off.
I wasn't that far off, he said. He's given us way too many hints.
Ecuador.
I was in
That's
Ecuador.
The wrapper is Ecuador.
You know, Paul.com Enterprises executive producer Mike Perez is here. Welcome, Mike. Mike is is from Ecuador and also the executive producer for all of our shows that we do as part of Paul.com Enterprises, including this show. So,
You
I've
rock.
also been wrapped in Ecuadorian
ladies.
ladies.
Very nice. Those were his cousins, but you know.
All on the family.
Okay.
Dave, the AV guy, is also here in the studio.
How's it going, cigar people?
He is listening to this show, making sure the streams are working from his sweatshirt, which is kind of interesting.
It's a very important job. Somebody has to do it.
I posed a question to him. If your sweatshirt contains a headset, how do you wash it? And he turns to me, and he says, I don't know. And I'm like, Dave, Christmas was like a few weeks ago, man. If you come in here like 2 months from now with that sweatshirt, I'm gonna make you take it off, and you're gonna have to leave it outside.
That's the miracle of Febreze.
You know what, man? It's going to smell real good after this podcast. Why aren't you smoking, sir?
Because no one gave him a cigar. So no one gave him a cigar.
All right, we're going to fix that right now.
Fix that right now.
Cutter. There you go.
He's a cutter and a lighter. Yeah, you know what? Tim, why don't you talk about this stick that we're smoking?
Yeah, sure thing. 5x50 Robusto, Ecuadorian wrapper. I'm about half done at this point. Smoking fantastic, man. This thing has been pouring smoke. We've been pairing it up with Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, which is pretty much the perfect matchup, only by accident.
Where all great pairings come from.
Yes, absolutely. Initially I thought it was going to pair well with the Cuban we were going to smoke earlier.
Yeah.
When Stogie Santa mentioned he was bringing it over, but it's pairing well with this too.
Nice.
What do you think of this?
I think it's good. It's I'm gonna say it's smooth. I don't know about creamy, but it definitely started off with a little pepper, and it got smoother, and I'm getting I don't know, almost a little caramel type syrupy kind of flavor to it.
It hasn't changed.
Like a little cedar in there. Can you pick that up?
I was going to say I'm getting some wood. I can't determine
More
what
of
it
a
is.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
That's not my hand.
I got. And look, if you're getting wood, keep it over there to yourself. All right.
Whose foot is that?
Oh, so Ben.
Yeah.
So what are you smoking tonight, Ben?
I'm starting out tonight with an Emilio AF1 Toro.
Very nice.
Very nice. I haven't had the Emilio cigars. I've read about them probably on your blog. And people say they're good.
Yeah, the first one I tried was the Grimalkin, and I kind of got that kind of by accident. I was actually talking about another cigar, Perdomo Champagne Noir, I wanted to try, and Gary Griffith, the owner of Emilio, said, hey, I'll send you a couple, and when I do that, I'll send you a couple of mine to try. Sure, no problem. I got out here, got the package in, let it rest a little while, then sparked up the Grimalkin, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing's awesome. So I immediately set up my equipment and shot a video review. It's the only time I've ever done that. And I just had to get it on camera. And it took me about 2 months. I was finally able to score a box from Burns Tobacco.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Chattanooga. And I fell in love with them from there.
Very cool. So you guys do you guys do regular video reviews, or is that a kind of once in a while thing?
No, we do them once a week.
Once a week.
Each one of us does it once a week.
Nice.
Right.
So Chris, what are you smoking?
Today I'm smoking a Tatuaje RC 184. Picked this up from the store about 2 weeks ago. I've been sitting on it, and figured this would be a good opportunity to fire it up. It's great so far. Really loving it.
Yeah, I love that
spice.
smoke.
That's a good
Stogie Santa gifted. Did he gift me one? He gifted me one. Well, he let me purchase. He had some RC 233s laying around. I smoked one of those, and that was like gigantic. It was like baseball bat size. I mean, it was good.
Right.
It was just a lot. Then he gifted me a 184. Now this was from the previous roll. So what year roughly did they do the previous roll that we smoked?
That would be around 2008.
Yeah, so it had some age on it.
Nice.
I mean, I smoked it a year ago, and it still, it had some age on it. So
The
then
one I reviewed was from a newer box.
was from a newer box. I did not give you any of the aged ones because I suck. Basically, is why.
I'll take care of that for you too.
Oh, you're the man.
Yeah, I mean, smoking the aged ones from that roll. Now, Stogie
I can
Santa,
imagine.
have you smoked the older ones and the newer ones?
Oh, absolutely. There's a significant difference. It develops a lot more. You'll lose a little bit of nicotine that you're picking up probably now.
Now, can you speculate as to whether they'll age in the same way?
Yeah, I think they will because they're really close. I think the blend
yeah.
blend is very, very close. Pete does that. He's probably one of the better ones on the market, in my humble opinion, that does that.
I'll tell you
Except
what-
with the J21.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? The new J21 is
2003s.
fantastic smoke, but yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. I don't know. The new 180, the one I reviewed was fantastic, so I can imagine it's going to age really, really well.
Yes,
So,
I agree. So let's talk about what we've been smoking.
all right, man.
I didn't update my list in the show notes. I'm
Nice.
going solely off what I posted in the Stogie's feed.
Wow.
So
You're a wild man.
what's that?
You're a wild man.
I'm a wild man tonight. I am a wild man.
You want me to start, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's start with the My Father Le Bijou 1922 Petite Robusto. Been a while since I smoked one of these, probably a good year or so. Fantastic, man. Actually, I believe this one came from you. My wife actually gave it to me as part of Christmas. Back.
Yes, this is true.
Have they have any age on it, out of curiosity?
That's only got about maybe 8 months of age.
Okay. Because I remember it being a little harsher the first time I smoked it. It was a good 9-10 months ago.
Oh, absolutely.
But I enjoyed it, man. Fantastic smoke. Nubbed it. 30-degree weather, no problem. Fully recommend trying it.
Very nice. I smoked the My Uzi Weighs a Ton, the bait fish.
How'd you like that, man?
This is the Petite Corona. Did you smoke yours?
Yeah, I reviewed it.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I really
Absolutely.
did. No, I smoked some of the regular My Uzi Weighs a Ton, and I thought it was good. I don't know, nothing really to write home about. This one though, like took a lot of the flavors that I kind of subtly picked up in the larger ring gauge size,
And notched it up.
Yeah, notched it up, and it was really ended up being really full of flavor. And it's amazing how, with certain blends, most blends, right, going from a larger ring gauge to a smaller ring gauge really made a huge difference. And I really liked it. It was a lot more full-bodied, a lot stronger in that size than the larger ring gauge.
Not over the top, though.
No, not over the top.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I smoked it during the first snowfall a couple weeks ago. Got some great pictures in the snow with it. Enjoyed every second of it. Can't wait to get some more, actually.
Yeah, I
Yes.
want to pick up a box of these because I thought it was that good. I think it's box worthy.
Definitely in
For
my
sure.
top 5 winter smokes these days.
Now, Ben and Chris, did you guys smoke the My Uzi Weighs a Ton?
I've smoked. Yeah, I smoked the. What is it? The 5x60 when I was at the Atlanta Tweet Up at Bucket Cigar, and also bought a bundle of the bait fish when they first came out.
Oh, nice.
I love the bait fish. I think it's amazing. I love that little stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Chris, how far are you into your cigar right now?
I'm about halfway through it right now.
And your comments on that?
Excuse me. I'm really enjoying it. Great full-bodied cigar. Tons of pepper, which I really like. And I got to say, when I pulled it out of cellophane and then took off that aluminum foil cap, the aroma that came off the cigar was incredible. Just a great kind of barnyard aroma that I really love. But it wasn't even like I had to put it up to my nose. It just radiated off the cigar.
Now, Chris, do you find that it has a what we call a Cuban-esque flavor profile?
I guess you could say that. I mean, I don't really know what Cuban-esque is. I guess, to me, I associate that with a little bit of a subtle spice, and I think this has a little bit more of a more upfront spice. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody.
Stogie Santa, how would you define the Cuban-esque flavor profile?
I'll agree with what Chris was saying. That subtle little spice that's in there, and then you got that, I wouldn't say barnyard, but a very earthy taste to it. That's what I say that Cuban is. You don't have, unless you're doing the, Romeo and Juliet, the Cazador, which is really up in your face, strong,
Right.
very powerful smoke. But as Chris mentioned, the strong, spicy notes of, you don't find that prevalent in majority of the Cubans.
Let's see. What else was on my list? Speaking of Cubans, Cuban cigars, that is. I smoked a Cohiba Siglo 4.
How was that?
It was this one had some age on it. I'm not sure how much age it had on it. I could probably tell you. This was part of a trade that I did with a good friend of ours. It was on the show last week, in fact. The other Mark, as we call him, and he. Let me see. I'll pull it up here in a minute. But he traded with me a lot of vintage Cuban stuff that he had in his collection, and a lot of it has been really good. Some of it's been kind of flat. And this one, the flavors were muted. I mean, from what I remember from smoking some of the Cohiba stuff, I thought the flavors were somewhat muted in this cigar. I mean, it burned great, and the flavors were good. I was just expecting a little more.
Too much age?
Yeah, it almost seemed like it had too much, like it had been aged out a little.
Yeah. What year was it from?
I'm not sure. I'll find that. While you're doing your next
no
one,
worries.
I'll find that.
Well, speaking of Mark, he actually gifted me something on the last show, too, which was very nice of him. A Ramon Allione specially selected from 2005. Actually threw up a review this week. Smoked it on New Year's Day. Fantastic. Loved this cigar. Definitely box worthy. good flavors, including wood, nuts, a nice mild spice that we just talked about. A really good toasty finish on the second half. Construction was A+, a great gift and a great smoke.
This was from 2005.
Nice.
Was where mine was from. And I don't know. I expect a little more from it.
It's funny how certain sticks
It's
can age
weird.
out, but
And the Partagas Series P number 2, let's see, which he doesn't have an age listed here. Those almost seemed a little aged out too. They seemed a little flat to me. Now, which is interesting because the whatchamacallit, Cigar Aficionado ranked that as what? No, they got like a number 3 or something?
No, I think that was wrong.
4? Yeah,
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Number 3 was the Illusion.
So I'm curious to try a Partagas Series P number 2.
now we did talk about aging out a little bit the last time you were on Stogie Santa. I mean, it does happen.
Each, like Chris mentioned before, every cigar has a different profile, and the person smoking it. So it's very arbitrary on what you can call aging out.
Right. But if I can jump in right there, I mean,
Go ahead.
I kind of agree. I mean, like you were saying, you wonder if the cigar's fallen flat after you've aged it for a while. And I guess that's the reason I'm never really successful at aging, is because if I fire up a cigar and I love it, and I have a handful of them or a box, I tend to smoke through them just because I know I love them now. Now, if somebody gives me something that's been aged, and that tends to get me interested in aging something, but if I like it now, I'm going to smoke it now.
It's probably the way it should be, though, man.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's smoking good, smoke
Now,
it.
I don't do that with my Cubans. I have a pretty much to me, each brand I have a different level on how much I age it. Like talking about the Partagas Series P number 2, that one I don't like 2 years of age, and I think they're right on. But like the Ramon Allion Specially Selected, to me, that thing is perfect between 3 to 5 years. I think that is it is such a great cigar. Like you said, it's box worthy. For me, it's box worthy, definitely. I love that stick.
I'll be seeking out a box. I'll tell you that much. So.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I got to get another one because I think I have 2 left, and that's it. I'm out.
I have one left
I like
from the
them
trade.
with a little bit more age.
Yeah, I have one left with some age on it that was part of that trade as well. And the aged one I smoked. Yeah, I smoked one of the aged ones. Let's see if I can. One of the specially selected what I have was from 2006.
Okay.
And let's see, I have cedar up front, fantastic finish, and it was a great cigar. Yeah,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, it definitely the aged improved that cigar, I think, tremendously because it smoked very smooth.
Stogie Santa, have you smoked that? Or?
Oh yeah, what Ben was mentioning, I agree with that assessment too, because the Partagas I find has a very, if it's a Series D, Series P, the profiles are similar, not exact, similar.
You know, see, I found it to be a very different, and maybe it was the age, but I found it a very different flavor profile between the P and the D series.
Again, that's
yeah, and I haven't smoked like a P and a D from the same year.
Well,
to
that's
do the
whole
comparison.
thing, from the same going from the same batch, whatever you're doing. So any cigar from batch to batch can change, slightly, but either or is, I think they're both box worthy.
Well, now speaking of the Partagas Series D number 4, I was gifted a tubo by none other than Stogie Santa, and I'll hold up the tube for the camera because the tube is just awesome.
It's a sexy tube in a non-phallic way.
And it's black, Tim. I know you're into that kind of thing, but.
Yes.
That's what she said.
What I like
You agree with that, Chris?
Not me.
No, of course not.
What I like about the tube, other than the fact that it's black and phallic, is that the band, the Partagas Series D number 4,
PG-13, man.
that was PG-13, right?
I know, I'm the one that started it. I'm sorry.
Your mind is X-rated, so you're translating what I'm saying from PG-13 to X. So the Partagas Series D number 4 band is actually screen printed on the tube, which I thought that was pretty cool. I think people, if cigar manufacturers, if you're listening out there, and you're going to make a tubo, which I'm not a huge fan of because I think cigars tend to, they get banged around in the tube a little bit, and it can be a tough kind of thing.
Right, you got to package it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, having the tube is nice because you can travel with them more easily and they won't get crushed. But putting the band screen printed on the outside of the tube, I think, is a really nice presentation. Now, that has absolutely zero bearing on the way the cigar smokes and tastes.
How did the cigar smoke and taste?
It was good. It was a little underfilled, but it had those classic. I mean, if you smoke, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You smoke a Partagas Series D number 4. It has that very distinct flavor profile, which I find to be very enjoyable. Like, for me, it's an everyday cigar.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would buy boxes of them, and you could smoke one every day. You don't get bored with them. You could smoke them, I think, with breakfast, with lunch, or after dinner, and they hold up any time, and that's one of its redeeming qualities. So I really like the Series D number 4.
I agree.
And they're a
I
reasonable
got a
price.
question.
Sure.
So which one would y'all rather have? A Series D or Series P?
I'll speak for I like the Series D myself. I don't know how Paul and Tim, I don't know what your consensus is on that.
I haven't smoked enough of the Series P to really say. I mean, I smoked through a box of Series Ds, and I really like them, and everyone I've gifted them to really likes them. And I smoked one Series P, and based on that, I like the Series D better, but I want to give the Series P a little more of a chance. I want to smoke some of the new ones and see how they do.
Ben and Chris, your assessment on that?
Well, I probably smoked the Series D to P, probably a ratio of 4 to 1. I love the D. I much prefer the D for me, but it's close. I mean, it's not like one's way worse than the other one, but I just prefer the D a lot more. So I smoked those a lot more than the P.
I
Just
agree.
prefer it.
No, I can't agree with you more.
Now, I have not had the P. I've only had the D. So my answer is going to be the 898 varnished.
There you go. Yeah,
No, keep it apples to apples.
yeah. The 898 varnish is in a different class. Have you smoked one of those recently?
No.
The only ones I've ever smoked have, or at least from like what 2008 Stogie Santa.
No, those were 2000.
No,
No,
the box that we
older.
had, those
Yeah.
are 2001s.
Yeah,
dude.
the ones
Were
we
they
had
old
were
as-
2004s, and
Yeah,
I don't know,
those
they're-
are old
they're
as
just
dirt,
Whatever,
yeah.
whatever.
I smoked my last two with my buddy Al.
Those are
birthday,
great.
so
Those are really
it
good.
they were good.
And Ben, before you sign off, you have to get your address, and what we're going to do is I'll send
Do
you
a
one.
swap.
Yeah, exactly. I got to send down one of the 184s to you that's aged, and that way there, and shoot a comment, see what you think.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I haven't had one, so that'd be great.
I want to turn the floor right now over to Dave the AV guy. Now,
Yeah, Dave, what are you smoking?
I gave Dave the AV guy an Ashton VSG Stogie Santa. Help me out. Which one is which?
That's the Robusto. That's 2 years of age.
Robusto with 2 years of age.
All right, I've never seen a square cigar before.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a square press to it.
It's kind of cool. It's like the first right after lighting was really intense, but after a little bit, it got really, really well balanced. Buttery, is that? Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say.
Go with it.
almost like
Go whatever you
texture-wise.
Yeah, I'd say creamy rather
Creamy?
than buttery's more of I think I don't know. It's
Would add a
nitpick.
salt flavor to it.
Buttery's more to me more of a flavor. Creamy's more of like a consistency experience kind
Okay,
of thing.
I get creamy, yeah.
Creamy, very, very strong wood flavor, and then just balanced. There's no strong, like it's got a good full flavor to it, but it doesn't linger a lot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very clean finishing, like a
Those are-
really good beer.
Those are really good cigars.
I can tell, like to the point where I was looking around, noticing that I didn't have anything to drink right now, and this kind of required it for the experience.
Yes. yes.
Coffee is my favorite drink with the VSG. I love those things.
Oh yeah, it does have a little coffee flavor to it as well, like very, very light. No, you don't taste that.
DSG is an amazing cigar. To
I
me,
like it.
that
It
is
really-
my
I mean,
$1
Ashton-
cigar.
Yeah, they really hit a home run with that blend.
You know what I want to do? I want to ask everybody what their favorite size is. Because Paul and I, we know what our favorite size is. But Ben, Chris, what are your votes?
Yeah, I'm terrible with the VSGs. I'm trying to remember. I believe it's a Spellbound
You're correct.
that I've really have been I've enjoyed in the past. Now, kind of before Ben chimes in, to you guys, have you seen a difference in the VSGs in the last couple of years? Like to me, they're just not hitting
Yes.
as well as they have.
Great
earlier.
point.
Yes.
Great point. We had this conversation.
See, a lot
last
of the-
week. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
A lot of the VSGs I've smoked have been a couple years old.
The new ones are not.
Because I'm
not
like
the same.
I'm like a snob when it comes to that. I mean, Stogie Santa can attest to that. The Ashton rep that everyone knows and loves, and I'll be as far away as Las Vegas, and we'll get talking about Ashton cigars. And I say, I met the rep a few times. He's a really nice guy, Andy Green. And everyone I talk to no matter who in the cigar industry goes, "Oh yeah, I know Andy." Like he's like world renowned, right?
It's true.
And yeah, I mean to talk about old. So what Andy told me was that VSG, I don't know, a couple of years ago they would come without the cellophane, and more recently they would come with cellophane. So I always kind of seek out the ones without the cellophane.
Ever since you told me that, every time I see them without the cellophane, I start buying them.
Now, having said that, I smoked the Wizard, which had cellophane on it, and I thought it was fantastic.
I smoked the Tres Mystique on Christmas morning with coffee, and it was fantastic.
Andy personally handed me an Eclipse in the Tubo, and I thought that was great. Now, that had a very different flavor profile. I got a lot more deeper, richer flavors from the Eclipse than I get from some of the smaller sizes. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Now, Ben and Chris, have you done the Tres Mystiques at all on the VSG?
Yeah, I've smoked a ton of those.
Oh,
I've smoked a ton of every size.
Yeah, absolutely. But to get back to what Chris's statement, even going back, even with the 2 years of age, it's okay. But I like you mentioned to Andy, I even brought that up, and he swears by there's no difference. But I really strongly agree with that assessment by Chris. I just really think it's
the newer ones are so they're not as good, or they're just different.
They're different. They're a different smoke. They really are. I mean, I know it's a virgin sun grown, the whole deal, but the flavor profile has changed. I think.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
I still love them. I could. We were talking about this actually this week at my local shop about how they have changed, but I still love them. But I mean, I still have a box of VSG Robustos from I think it was 2004, 2005, unopened, sitting in my humidor right now. That.
Ben, buddy!
You need to share those, brother.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I did that with the Tres Mystiques. I put a box away that I bought earlier this year, like early summer.
Yeah, but you left the key out to the Avalo.
That's right, yeah. And that's the same. I'm just letting those sit,
And they got a new, what's that new one?
I bought the new size. I haven't smoked it yet.
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
It's good.
What size is that exactly?
It's like a...
It's a short Robusto.
Short Robusto, yeah.
Nice.
It's 5x54 Pegasus.
Okay.
I'm looking at the site now. In fact, I got to take back what I said earlier. It's not the Sorcerer. I mean, I'm sorry, not the Spellbound.
Sorcerer.
It's
Sorcerer,
the Sorcerer that I really liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my number 2, I think.
What size is that, Chris?
Let me bring it back up.
Sorry.
No, it's all good, man.
That's a smaller cigar on the Sorcerer.
Now, the
7x49.
The VSG line in general is, I mean, it's a little pricey, right? It's not. It's not overly expensive, but it's not.
Well, not nowadays.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it cheap either.
I mean, you're gonna pay in between what, $10 to $14 a stick.
Right.
Which one's that?
Yeah, it depends on which one you get.
Well, the cheapest one's going to be the
Tres Mystique.
Tres
right?
Mystique. That's at 8 1/4, right?
Right.
Sorcerer
For a Corona size, 8
the
1/4.
Sorcerer or even the Illusion is a very good one. Those are at $9.75.
Well, ain't bad. Yeah, ain't bad at all. I'm thinking,
the Illusion's
I'm thinking Massachusetts prices.
Yeah. Well, the Illusion is a Grand Corona, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Almost like it reminds me of a box press Lonsdale.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's move. Speaking of prices and cigars, let's talk about Davidoff.
Oh boy!
So I smoked, and we've talked about these on the show, and we'll spend a little more time talking about them because we've done some more research about these particular cigars.
I finally got to smoke one. So.
I gifted one to Tim. I mean, just so listeners know and everyone here, I bought 3 boxes. So the way I understand
You're a maniac, dude.
I'm a maniac. Well, they're boxes of 10. But these boxes had some age on them. They were sitting around the shop. I knew for a while because of the band, like we said. The band doesn't say the size on it on Davidoff. It could be at least 3, 4, or more years old. So they released in 2009, from what we understand, they released the Colorado Claro.
That was a re-release.
The original was
2002. Yeah.
So what they did was they took 3, maybe 4 sizes that I'm aware of the special series.
Yes.
And what people have told me is they just put a different wrapper on it. They put this Colorado Claro wrapper on it. And it changes. I smoked the regular special series, and I was like, wow, that was good, but I would never pay that much for them. But they take the special wrapper and they put it on them, and you put a little age on it, and it becomes this phenomenal smoke where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay the premium that you pay for Davidoff and I'm going to buy some of these up. And everyone I've gifted this to has been blown away. They're like, oh my God, this is so good. So what we figured out was that the boxes that I bought were from 2009, and I got a box of the pyramid size, which is the special T.
I believe so.
The Robusto size, which is the special R.
Correct.
And the short Perfecto, which is just called short Perfecto. So I smoked a short Perfecto, and it was really good. It was really good.
I mean, I have to say, I smoked the Special R, the Robusto, New Year's morning, actually, with a cup of coffee. Actually reviewed it. Hasn't dropped on the site, but it will Monday at 7 a.m. First, let me say, sexy stick. I mean, talk about presentation.
Yeah, the wrapper's gorgeous.
The wrapper is gorgeous. Has a nice Davidoff gold and white bands, double band.
I mean, these are from 2009. They've got at least 3 years of age on them.
Now, you said that the box was covered in plume?
So the box of special teas that I bought, it was the funny story where I walked in, and I'm like, oh, I said, I see you got this box in there, the Claro? They're like, yeah. And I said, I've been wanting to try that for a while. Because I read reviews on it, and she was like, friendly with the person in the local brick and mortar, and she was like, well, if you buy the whole box, now these are like $20-something a stick. She's like, well, if you buy the whole box, I'll give you a discount. I'm like, I don't know. She opens up the box, and they're covered in like this crystally plume. I'm like, you know what? I'll take the box.
I love when that happens.
That's awesome. What? I'm just going to take. And I was a gamble. I never smoked the stick before. I was going solely on, and this is kind of a testament to, I think, the power of the internet, right? I was going solely on the reviews I read online and the fact that these sticks obviously had some age on them. So I'm like, you know what? I'll roll the dice, and I won big time, I think, because they're just phenomenal.
Yeah, flavor-wise, I mean, a nice. I almost called it graham cracker.
Yes, I would.
Type flavor.
I would absolutely agree with that.
With a caramel sweetness that wouldn't quite come to the forefront. It was there, but it was coming and going. It was in the background. And then the second half, I got a lot of coffee bean and cocoa on the second half.
It's very complex. The flavors change up. Even in the short Perfecto. I mean, the short Perfecto is nice because it goes, that short little Perfecto size change. The burn goes from small to big to back to small again, and they're just magical.
I'll have to try that size.
Wink. I'll
Wink.
trade you
I
for like 20 other cigars. Maybe I'll
I got to bring you a Benji.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good trade.
Also, burn, draw, construction, like most Davidoffs.
Impeccable.
It was impeccable. Pricey, but I recommend grabbing a box or two.
So, Stogie Santa, you tried the pyramid size, right? The specialty.
Yes. Yeah, excellent. But I just want to interject something. I want to ask Ben and Chris something. Have you done the EPC Doc Rituals at all?
Oh yeah, I smoked them when I was at the Atlantic Tweet Up at Buckhead Cigar. Fell in love.
Oh, isn't it unbelievable?
It is absolutely a great stick.
Oh, great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to try that one yet.
Now, my second question to you gentlemen is that up here in New England, we have the tendency, we're going to a size of a cigar. 6x60 is really huge up on this spectrum where we live. I'm not one of those, but down in Mississippi where you are, is the 6x60 a big commodity, or is it a big thing? Do they like the big ring cigars?
Actually, yes, it is. Actually, it's a big seller at my local shop, and I absolutely detest that size.
I
cannot stand that size. I'm a Corona Gorda guy.
Oh, you're my man.
So,
yeah, right.
So that's
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, so I mean, and all the reps know that when they come here and they got a 6x6, they don't even bother anymore. But yeah, they sell crazy here. I don't get it. I think what it mainly is that people see that 6x60 and see that maybe it's only like a couple bucks more. You're getting so much cigar for only a couple bucks more. I got to get that one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Economics definitely play into it. It's interesting. We talked about last week the Por Laranaga cigar, which is the Monte Carlo size.
I'm going to let you pronounce that again.
Laranaga.
Well done.
Laranaga. Yeah. It's got the squiggly line over the end, so you have to. It's like años. You have to say años, not anos, because those are two totally different things. Our good friend Carlos.
That joke does not get old.
Our good friend Carlos in the Paul.com family. He lives in Puerto Rico. I confirm some of my pronunciations with him. And of course, executive producer Mike here, right, can attest to. So how would you say Por Laranaga? you want to see it in?
I wanna
Maybe
see
we
it
should
written.
show
It's
them. Right?
LARRAN with the squiggly line AGA.
Larinaga.
There we go.
There
Well
we
done.
go. See,
Very
see?
done. See what that New England yang 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 yang. Yeah.
So, but the Monte Carlo size is very, very small. What's the ring size on
That's a 38.
30, 38,
Yep.
or even smaller? Right, 35, 32.
36 the smallest.
It's small, and that's a fantastic cigar. I mean, and that's like the polar opposite of the 60.
Now, how the new one's smoking compared to
The
what?
new ones are great.
Yeah.
The new ones are fantastic.
You don't find them a little too citrusy? You know,
No,
too much no?
I don't get like as much citrus that would turn me off to smoking them. I really like them. I can see where age had smoothed that out. I mean, having tried some of the ones that you have with age on them, definitely smooths it out. But I mean, that just goes to show you don't have to smoke that large ring gauge to.
You're getting all the rapid taste off it. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with a couple guys who are very bravado into the big ring gauges for the last couple of years. Been trying to convince them you got to smoke some Coronas, you got to smoke some Robustos. Finally convinced them, and they finally came to me the other day and admitted, "You were right, Tim. This cigar has more flavor in the size than you know."
Now, I don't mind
a different
cigars
flavor.
that are perfecto size or style and reach a 60 ring at some point and then taper down in either direction.
Well, look at the pig we smoked last week.
Yes, exactly.
great example of
That's
that.
a
Oh,
good
wait a minute,
example.
This is PG.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
pig was this?
This was the flying feral pig,
Oh,
Stogie Santa.
Okay. I'm sorry. Now, Ben and Chris, I got another question. I don't mean to keep hammering away. How about tats down your end? Do the tats do well down there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm actually in Maryland,
Okay.
and the tats are really big here. In fact, the shop I frequent the most, every time I go in there, they have a little bit more in the tat line. So they're getting bigger and bigger. I think just as a brand is. I mean, I think everywhere you go, they seem to get bigger and bigger. So that's how it is here.
Tim, how do you say tatuaje?
You're going to go there. Tats.
That's why.
No, they're phenomenal. One of my favorite smokes.
Let's turn it over to executive producer Mike Perez. Mike, what is the Spanish pronunciation and conversion of the word tattoo in Spanish?
Tattoo. Not familiar with that.
Tatuaje.
Tatuaje.
Yeah. See, that's
Tatuari.
no. There's no R in it. There's no R.
This is not speech therapy. This is a cigar forum.
You know,
We're trying. We're trying, though. We're trying.
two things happen during this podcast.
What's
One,
that?
he'll make fun of me. Two, he'll drop Astro.
Okay.
in his
Oh, that's
lap.
all right.
So
Okay,
it hasn't happened yet, but it will.
Before we go any further, I want to expose the cigars that you're smoking. What do you think that was? Just a wild guess.
Oh God, I don't even know, man.
The
Do you have a
Quesada?
guess?
That's the Spanish release?
No way, is it?
Yes. See, this is what happened. That cigar is
Espanada?
Españada. Yes, the Robusto.
No, do we need to go to executive producer Mike Perez again?
Españada.
Spaniard?
Oh, I'm telling you, Chris, and Ben, it's a cigar that come out with these monster ratings, and again,
Oh, yeah.
I just think, going back to Cubanesque, I kind of disagree with. I think Paul said it was far from Cuban. I think it's just the opposite. Has that little pepper, which you don't get, a little subtle spice. It's a great. You can smoke it any time, in the morning, afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cigar up on this end of the spectrum in New England. Hasn't caught on, and I think it's a very overlooked cigar.
I should have known that
I
because you mentioned
absolutely
it.
love that cigar. It was
Me too.
almost my cigar of the year, to be honest.
Right
Nice.
there.
And I've had every size.
Now,
And
what-
you can say which was your favorite size. I couldn't tell you. I love them all three so much.
I agree. I'm glad that someone else gets this besides the two in this room.
I had never
Yeah.
tried it until now, so
I had one before, and I thought it was good.
yeah.
And I'm glad I'm revisiting it now. I really like it.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
got
well-
to give. I've only got one left.
Let me know. Again, I can take care of that.
See, I've only actually had the opportunity to try one while I was up at the Famous Expo back in, I don't know, what is it, August or September. I can't remember which Quesada was there. The Sun, one of the Suns.
Yeah, if it was any of the females, you'd remember.
Oh,
Well, I would remember them, yeah, absolutely. But it was one of the Suns, and he handed me one, and I smoked it. It was a little, I guess, Petite Corona.
Yeah,
That was
Petit
incredible.
Robusto, probably.
That
Incredible.
seems to be the most popular one is the little Corona.
Yeah, the Corona's got all the, like you said, Ben, all the hearsay of what's going on, and I agree with what you're saying. Every one is delicious, but the Robusto, it's funny. I smoke the Robusto, and then I like the Corona. I go to the Corona, I go back and
Go
forth,
back and
and
forth,
they're
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's
So-
the same with me. I mean, I had like 5 cigars that at one time or another was a surefire. This is my cigar of the year, and I honestly, Quesada, I'm not a real big fan of the Casa Magna line, but
Me neither.
holy crap, the what they released this year with the Damas Magnus,
Oh,
the
wasn't that phenomenal? Oh.
and the Oktoberfest. Holy
Yes,
crap.
Oktoberfest was on my
Nuts.
top 10 list. Now, previously, was it the Tributo? Tributo, yeah. I wasn't impressed with that blend, really. It was kind of just okay.
Yeah, me too.
Now, Stogie Santa, you gave me a square, like very flat box pressed Quesada Limitada.
Yes, that is a 35th.
Yeah, the 35th is that
And
what
the
they?
35th is kind of similar to the Spanish.
Yeah,
It's similar, but
it was okay. It was
okay,
good.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a $5 basically.
Okay.
But the stuff that they've come out with, like the Oktoberfest, the Espinana,
They're picking it up.
and what was the other? Did they come out with another one this year?
Damas Magnus.
Damas Magnus, and I believe that the Damas Magnus. I don't quote me. You have to go look on CA, or I think it's in the top 10. That's another cigar that
Yeah,
that
I
just
think it is. I think it's number 10, I believe. Or
yeah,
something.
They hit some
something
home
like that.
runs this year, big time.
I think they've done an excellent job.
Yeah, I immediately snagged a box of those. I mean,
The
And,
price
you know,
price is about to go up, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the rating. And another shout out to both of you gentlemen. Have you done the 7th Kappa with Pete?
yes.
And-
I
Yes.
love
Okay, now what would you say is your favorite between the 7th Capper and the 7th Reserver? Which one do you
Kappa
prefer?
Michelle.
Yeah, I
Hands
agree,
down.
hands down. And all the difference on that is just the wrapper. That's the only. The binder and filler is the same. All the difference is that nice Sumatra, and that's the only one that's made in Esteli, the white label one, because all the other tats are in Miami.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a real eye-opening experience when I was in the Dominican Republic, La Aurora. We had they had us at the factory. A bunch of us bloggers went down there, and Jose Blanco, who is awesome. I mean, his knowledge of tobacco is unbelievable. And he gave us a tasting seminar, and he gave us 5 Corona Gorda sticks, and he had us light them up one at a time. It had, Club Soda there to cleanse our palate between each one. He'd go around and say, okay, what do you think that cigar is? What is it? Of course, we were all said different things. Of course, we were all wrong. It just showed us how we really don't know what the hell we're talking about. but we started smoking them. It's like, no, it's Cameroon wrapper. Like, what? Went around again. Same, had the same blend, different wrapper on the next one, and just the change in the wrapper was such a dramatic difference. It was unbelievable. I mean, people don't realize how much that wrapper really imparts flavor on a cigar.
Oh, and it goes back to what you were saying, Ben and Chris. They go to the 660 and they lose that flavor of the wrapper, and it's unbelievable. It really is.
I'll tell you what, with the capper, I smoked one at Christmas. I smoked one right before the show today. Every time I smoke one, it keeps growing on me and growing on me. Every time I smoke one, I'm liking it more and more.
Yeah.
The 7th Reserve has been a favorite of mine for a long time, but I'll tell you what, man, that smoke is growing on me.
And Chris and Ben also realized that Avion got all the bells and whistles of what's going down. That 7th Kappa went right under the radar, and that's one of Pete's favorites. It really is.
Yes.
It truly is.
Yeah, it was going to be on my list of the top cigars, but I ran out of room. I mean, I could have had a top 50. It was, so many great sticks came out.
It was a good year.
And yeah, I had my top cigar of the year, 5 runner-ups. Then I had my lucky 13, and that was me. That took me 3 days to pare it down to just that. I mean,
Yeah, we
and
were
the
the
Kappa.
same way. We did the honorable mentions, and it was. I think we probably had at least a dozen cigars each that didn't make the list.
So, and again, not to keep this a Pete Johnson forum, did you ever get the original release of the T110s?
I've got one. I smoked it.
Yeah, the first release was totally different from the second and third. They were saying the Fausto is like the T110. If you never had the original release of T110, you wouldn't know the difference.
I had the second or third release of the T110, and I thought it was hands down better than the Fausto.
Oh, I agree with that. The Fausto, it is what it is. Just take it again for what it is. Don't try to compare the cigar. The Fausto is a good cigar. I'm not a huge fan, but it's still good. What Pete does badly, a lot of companies would love to do what he. I'll take that back. Not badly, but like the 7th Cap, everybody loves.
No, but let me ask you this: speaking of Tatuaje, is the La Casita Criolla.
Yeah,
Yes.
And that got very high rankings from a lot of
Yes,
the different
it
blogs' top 10 lists.
Not me.
That didn't make our top 10
No.
lists. I
Too
thought it
dry
was.
for me.
I thought it was good.
I
It was okay.
think it
I love
has-
Connecticut broadleaf. I don't know if it really.
It has a very unique flavor
It
profile,
does.
and
It
either
does.
you're going to like
It's a good
it,
change of pace cigar.
or you're not going to like
Yeah,
it.
and people loved it.
There's a lot of people
I'll
loved it.
like it, but not that much.
Yeah.
Not enough for a whole cigar to be made out of.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with
Right,
you,
and
man.
that's a tough thing
Well,
with the
I'm
connection.
saying I love that cigar. I think I'm probably. There are some bloggers that really do enjoy it, but I think overall, we're all in the minority, the ones that really do enjoy it.
But that doesn't
Well, my-
matter. The best
my thing
cigar is the
is-
one you like.
That's right. Yeah, I agree.
When I smoked, I've smoked probably 13 or 14 of the La Casita Criollas, and the reason I keep going back to it is because, a lot of my blogger buddies are like, "Oh, it's such a great cigar." I'm thinking, I keep smoking, thinking, "What am I missing? What am I missing?"
Yeah.
And I'm smoking it, and it's good, but there's something in that cigar that my palate just does not care for. I can't figure out what it is. That's why I keep smoking them.
I did the same thing, man. I went through all 3 sizes twice over, trying to, maybe it's a size thing, maybe it's, and it wasn't a bad smoke, but
No, it's not.
It's-
I don't think it's a bad cigar. It's just
wasn't
not
my
for me.
flavor profile.
Yeah, and I think for the price, you can find comparable stuff that is a little more complex that you will likely enjoy more.
The capper that we
Yeah.
were just talking about.
Yeah, I'd much rather have that over
All right,
over any of this.
The closing arguments on Pete, we'll leave it alone. I'll start with Chris and I'll start with Ben. Your favorite, if you can, which is hard to do. Your favorite Pete Johnson cigar, if you have one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to jump right back real quick to the La Casita Criolla because I had a conversation with Pete about that at the Famous Expo, and I'll leave it open to you guys to comment. He asked me about the draw, and if I like the draw. I said, it's a little tight, but I tend to like a tighter draw anyways. So I think that's probably for some people what kind of turns them off is that because it's so much Connecticut broadleaf, it's such a thick wrapper, and humidified, it gets a little thick. It's hard to draw, and you might not get as much flavor as you're expecting from other cigars.
I would agree with that.
I had one that was really tight draw. I couldn't finish it.
I think my biggest problem with that cigar, and again, it's a personal preference. I get a dryness to my palate. That's some of the things that turns me off about. That's probably one of the biggest.
It has a
things that
very
turns me
grainy finish.
off. So anyway, and yours, Ben, your favorite one, if you have one.
Whew, that's a tough question. It's besides his more rare stuff, just the regular stuff. I would say
Even his rare stuff.
I would say the J21. To be honest, I smoke so many of those cigars. It's not even funny. I keep seeming to go back to that. But talking about the Capa Especial, I freaking love that cigar too. And I'm not one to smoke like I have to change up when I'm smoking a lot. Like I can't smoke. I smoke a cigar. I usually cannot smoke the same one right behind it. With the Capa Especial, I did that several times. I went to them quick. So it's probably a toss-up between probably those two or trying to think what was the I really enjoyed the Tattoo Lancero was pretty good too, but
Really?
yeah, I kind of enjoyed that. But I let that sit when I first got them. They were okay, and I let them sit for months, then tried them again, and they were a lot better.
I would agree with that. I bought a box, and they were much better after 3 or 4
Are we
months.
talking about the El Trentador?
we're talking about the tattoo, right?
The tattoo.
Oh, the tattoos. I thought you were talking about the El Triunfo, the Connecticut broadleaf. That's phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
That's probably my favorite right there. Is the original brown label.
Yeah.
label,
Oh, yeah.
El Triunfador.
Exactly. Right.
It's
With the
just
Connecticut
incredible.
broadleaf, not the second release.
Wait,
Tim?
so do I? So okay, do I get to go?
Yeah.
Me,
Tim.
me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, not at all.
No.
No. Shut off.
Pass.
Go ahead, Tim.
I'm going to go with the J21.
Is your favorite tat?
It's the first tat I smoked. It's still my favorite. I know I just said earlier that, the new ones aren't as good, but they're still smoking great. There's a lot of tats I like, though, man. I mean, you look at Larry Case's a great smoke.
Oh yeah.
The 7th Reserver, the 7th Capper,
Petite Cazador.
the Petit Cazador. I mean, there's just so many of them to choose from. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the J21.
I have to say, for me, probably hands down, my favorite Tatawahe is the RC184 from that 2008 blend. That's got to be my favorite. It's got to be
I
my
gotta go
favorite.
with the Noea, the Reserva. That's just
The Noea Reserva is really good too.
that is my. That's,
Haven't had one. Boo-hoo.
I have to
Boo-hoo.
say though, it sucks to be you, but the 184 for me, I mean, as far as the reason it comes over the Noea Reserva is because of just sheer smoking experience. I mean, to put a cigar in that size, in that flavor profile, and give you that smoking experience is awesome. Now, the Noea Reserva is also very, very, very good, but much shorter.
I'll tell you what, though. The
What
Noea
pack
brown
flavor?
labels with some age on them.
Yeah, those are really good too.
Those are really good,
Incredible
too.
cigar.
I have to say, probably like my regular release Tatuaje that I like the best has to be the Kahonu 2003. I think,
Nice pick.
I just
Hey,
had one this weekend.
yeah, paired with a cup of coffee.
Yep,
Ah,
that's what I
it's
did.
it's unbelievable. It totally by accident. I happened to be in the shop. There was a fresh pot of coffee being brewed, and I smoked that cigar, and I had the coffee, and it was just really good. And now when I know I'm going to have a cup of coffee, I'll light one of those up, and I think consistently that cigar is just packed with flavor and pairs so well with coffee.
right. And I can't wait to know. It's released every 3 years, so 2012 will be coming out.
Yeah.
And they've got a broadleaf
Yes.
2012 and a Sumatra, right? Those are the two ones coming out in
Right.
2012.
So they
I
got two.
can't wait to try that either.
Well, who is it? Jay from Cigar Photography?
Yes.
Is that- that's
Jersey,
him.
Jersey J.
Jersey Jay.
Cigarphoto.net.
Yes, he did the review on them on the 20. He said it was awesome.
Yeah.
So looking forward to those as well.
His pictures will make
Well,
you want
tell
to
you
smoke
what.
anything.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to crawfish a little bit on y'all. I started thinking more about it. I think actually, truly, my favorite Tatuaje is the original Tat Black in the Tubo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've gone through a lot of those.
Yeah, it's as I'm saying. There is no bad answer to anyone that has brought it up. Like I said, that's how good that what he has done with the cigar world, by all
Yes.
means.
Yeah, it's got a lot of great blends.
Okay.
Let's go back talking about Cubans. Romeo and Julieta 2007 LE. Now, I realize my pictures here are from a 2005. I've had some with the 2005 and the 2007 limited edition Romeo and Julietas. I've had some problems. And in fact, I labeled this one wrong. This was actually an H. Upman 2005 that was plugged.
Okay.
So what I did was I pulled, because it looks very similar, I pulled the Romeo and Julieta from 2007. That one smoked okay. The Altman from 2005 did not. So I can't really speak to the Altman. In fact, it's right here in the ashtray.
I saw it earlier.
Yeah, it's sad. It was
very
totally
sad.
plugged, unsmokable. But I did do the Romeo and Julieta. I believe it was a 2007 LE, and that was good. It didn't pour flavors like you described from the 2004 that you smoked of the limited edition Romeo and
That was the
Julieta.
2004 Hermosos.
Hermos, yes,
Limited
yeah.
edition. Oh my God.
You said that was fabulous. I didn't get that.
gave me wood in more than one way.
Yeah, I
man.
didn't get that experience from it. I mean, it was good. It was just, it was good.
It's,
Yeah.
If I could find more of those, I'd pay a premium.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So kind of-
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was awesome, but I thought it was good stick, but not great.
Yeah, that's what I got from the 2007 LE.
I think I got one left on my list.
Go ahead.
The La Aurora Pref 1903 Cameroon #1. Classic in my book. Not many people do Cameroon like La Aurora.
Yeah.
Reviewed it on the site. I've smoked a ton of these. Probably one of my more favorite Cameroons, second only to the Lancero. That's a hint.
Yes.
Really, really refreshing finish. Good medium-bodied smoke for any time of the day. Box-worthy, hands down. Check out the review on the site.
They also make that Cameroon in a Robusto,
Yes, they do.
which is also very good.
Now, the Maduro, I actually prefer the Robusto.
Really?
Yeah. So,
The Cameroon Lancero is very, very good.
oh yeah.
Very much sought after.
Yes.
Yes.
And you swipe that box right out from under.
I did. Yes. Yes, I did. I bought the whole thing. Every single last one of them.
These guys on the other end don't know what's going on. Now they understand.
Not everyone.
And what's funny is I'm now trading those for a lot of stuff, the other stuff that I want to smoke
Nice.
too, which is
Nice.
great. Which is great.
How's your smoke doing, Paul?
The finish on this España, is that how you say it? España?
Yeah.
Is close enough.
Close
Is-
enough.
Is very, very good.
Nice.
And the finish, I mean, the flavors got a lot more intense. I'm really enjoying it.
Agreed. I nubbed mine quite some time ago. Lit up this, what is this they gave me? Lito Gomez Famous Signature Series? Robusto, I believe.
I don't know. I was on auction. It said Lito Gomez.
It's
They were dirt cheap. I wanted to see what you thought of it.
it's not bad. Burn-wise, damn good. Draws a little tight. Flavor profile, not all up my flavor profile alley, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. It's good smoke.
Speaking of the LGs, the small batch number 4 will be released. Well, it is released.
So someone, acigarsmoker.com, reviewed the Lito Gomez small batch number 4 and said it was phenomenal. I mean, give it a fantastic review.
When do those land?
They should be in. I would expect I should have them either by. Oh, tomorrow is Friday. By middle of next week. That's what I'm hoping for.
Nice.
Very good. Do we have a segment or no?
No,
We don't have a segment.
kind of hoping you're going to do your Frigidor.
Well, so what I
Hot
want to
take.
do is I want to kind of go around and revisit what we talked about last week, because I think it's a segment that deserves. Well, you know what? Let's take a little break.
Yeah, great.
Let's
Sounds good.
smoke a little cigars, finish up, maybe light up another one, and come back, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Winadors. When we come back, we'll kind of build upon what we had last week. I want to get Stogie Santa's opinions and
Yeah,
things
since
that
he
we've been
wasn't
talking
here,
about.
so.
Yeah, and he wasn't here last week, so. All right, we'll take a little break and come back.
I'm gonna have to cut out, unfortunately, gentlemen. I have a little situation at home.
Okay. All right. See what you have to do there. It's pretty good. I'm not a
Oh, I'm telling you, that is probably my favorite beer.
Oh, yeah.
Marksman is coming by the way. Spell check. I gotta take that.
Interesting flavor profile on this one. I can't tell if I like it or gamble, It's not bad. It was a gamble. Thought I heard a cell phone.
It's time for light up something new.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been there right now. Cut it? They're random. It's good burn, man.
This thing smells so much better than that.
Y'all have me very jealous smoking those Españas.
It was really good. I strongly
enjoyed it.
recommend people seek those out.
How old is she now?
She's 9.5. I got her on medication.
All right, let's kick it back. And we're back. We're gonna talk a little bit about some humidor stuff. Kind of recap what we had last week. I got my winter wine refrigerator in.
Nice.
It's for wine. Now it's got 2 zones. One for reds, one for whites, and it seems to be working really well.
But you don't drink wine.
No, but I'm keeping the bottom portion of it at 50 degrees, and I'm finding it works really well to keep beer because I like to drink really nice beer, the kind that you don't want to keep it necessarily 35, 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I think the beer that I like the Belgians and certain ales like that, like to be at more 50 degrees, which is where I like to drink them. So I've commandeered the kind of the bottom shelf where I can age some beer. And I had some lambic ale in there,
Very nice.
which is the fruity. They typically put fruit in the lambic ale because it's kind of bitter, and it was really good. I liked drinking it at that temperature. Now my wife and her friends were putting like ice cubes in it and stuff, which is just an atrocity. But I liked it at that temperature. I thought it was good. So now, Mark, you have a winter, right?
Correct.
And you like it.
Oh, I think.
And you're using those for cigars.
Oh, absolutely. It performs very well for me. It really does.
Now, there's no condensation problems.
None whatsoever.
It doesn't remove the humidity from the humidor.
Nope.
That's good.
I've had
And it's
nothing
at
but-
66.
Mine runs from 64 to 66 degrees, and that's what it happens. Yep.
So again, be careful which model that you get. Now, Ben and Chris, do you guys have the Winadors or experimented with the Winador humidors?
No, I haven't, not yet, but it's on my radar. It's something I was actually looking at the our local cigar shop with the owner this weekend. As a matter of fact.
So do
Might
they
use
have
one.
humidors that have cooling?
No, they were actually talking about getting some in. I'm not really sure why they were talking about. Oh, they were talking about buying some of those to put in the shop because it's a relatively new shop. It's only been there 2 years now, but the owners started to buy some of the more the rare stuff, the limited releases and once a year kind of things, and putting them up and letting them age, and then bringing them back out like 5 years and putting them back out on the shelf to sell. And he thought about using that to store them in, kind of in the back of the shop where people can't really get to them and stuff. Which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Really cool idea for the customers.
Now, do you know if, since he's going to be aging them, if he's going to try to sell them at a premium when he decides to put them on the shelves?
Nope, he just thought about pricing them like normal.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Definitely.
Now, there is some people out there that build custom shelves for these things.
Yes.
Stogie Santa, are you familiar with any of
Yes, it's called chazadors.com,
Okay.
and that's where I got all my shelving. By the time, as you know, getting Spanish cedar, you don't get a 12 by 12 piece of cedar wood. You have to buy the whole shelf, not the whole shelf, but the big piece of wood. So by the time, I would say roughly, don't hold me to the exact dollar figure, I ended up with 4 drawers and 3 shelves for one humidor, and I think it's the same thing for the other. And each humidor is roughly about $1.25, $1.50. And
Okay.
I'll tell you, he does a great job. The only thing is just be patient. The man, he's that busy, but he does a phenomenal job. You can get him for where the 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch. The 3 inch holds roughly about 150 to 200 cigars.
Okay.
So that's chazadorhumidors.com. CHASIDOR humidors.com. That's the one that.
Very cool.
There was another one. It was like wine humidors or wine something. There's no one out of Texas. So there's a couple of them out there. So price them out. And with the Chazador one that I spent some time looking at is they've got trays and they've got dividers, they've got shelves, and they've got a few different models. So we talked last week about which models you want to buy. So you can go in and buy that specific shelf that fits your model of wine humidor.
With anything, man, I recommend people go to the forums and pull from people's experiences on what
Yeah.
they bought.
And when you use these humidors, you got to use a passive way of humidifying your cigars, and a little shout out to I got to help me out here, Paul. What's our
The
beads?
Heartfelt
The
beads.
Heartfelt
Yep.
beads.
Heartfelt
They're
Industries.
a two-way humidification system. It's so efficient. It's ridiculous. It really truly is. Are you familiar with that, Chris?
I am familiar with those. I had when I was keeping a cooler door before I got my cabinet, I was using heartfelt beads. So definitely have some experience. Always worked well for me. The only problem I had was probably a year and a half into them, they started turning black, and I think it was a little bit of mold developing.
Right.
So it's probably user error on my part.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that for every pound that you use of that, you only need 1 ounce of water, and well, distilled water, by the way. And
Oh, absolutely.
You're right.
That's what I use too. I only use Heartfelt Industry beads in my cooler doors. I have 120 quart ice chests that I have, and I use a pound in each one, and it works like a champ. Hardly any maintenance. But you're right, very little water. As a matter of fact, I just buy one of those cheap spray bottles and I spritz the beads when I see they need them. But living in Mississippi, right on the Gulf Coast here, it's high humidity here so much that I really don't have a problem with that. My problem is keeping the humidity down.
Yeah, that's where the beads come in handy.
And they work great for that too.
Yep. Stogie
Very
Santa
good.
is leaving us, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Good luck with the pooch.
So guys, Chris Emmett, how's your cigars doing?
Doing well. I finished the RC 184, and all that Tatuaje discussion led me to firing up a Tatuaje Anarchy. So,
Oh, nice.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those things are smoking fantastic
Yes,
right
oh,
now.
absolutely.
I mean, when I first got them, I was like, all right, they're okay. But 9 months in, oof, I have to say they're smoking fantastic.
See, and I think, they're definitely a great cigar. In fact, I did a review probably about a month ago with my dad,
Okay.
and it was probably it was the second Anarchy he had had, and I've smoked through probably at least a box of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I preferred them young.
Really?
But they're still a great cigar. Yeah, I mean, early on they were so peppery and in your face, and I just love that kind of
Right.
flavor profile. So I really enjoyed them now, but they seem to be coming into a. I wouldn't say they're better than they were, but they're definitely different than they were a year ago.
Agree. See, I don't like that pepper in your face profile, so that's probably why I'm leaning towards them more now.
Right.
I think that, they're definitely smoking great. I mean, now's the time to try them if you haven't tried them. That's what I recommend to everybody listening.
Especially if you don't like the pepper.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that just stay away from it like it's a plague, and now's the time to get them. Because I can't imagine there's many more left.
Yeah, they still have them up on the site, but I can't imagine. Only 1,500 boxes, correct?
Yeah, and I'm probably responsible for 3 of them. So.
Nice.
That was Smoke Inn, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
smokin.com.
So Tim, I gave you a cigar that I won on auction. It was a gamble. I bought it on name alone. I got it from cigarauctioneer.com. It was Alito Gomez's famous signature.
Series, correct.
Yes.
Robusto. It's growing on me. First third, I was like, hit or miss. I can't tell if I like it or not. I'm on the second third now. Draws opened up. The burn is great. I'm holding an 1.5 inch ash here.
Yeah, I can see that. That's very nice.
I'm liking the flavor profile better on the second third.
That's good.
So, yeah, not a bad smoke at all.
Now, it's interesting. This is the first show I haven't ashed on myself.
Yet.
Yet. Yet. It's not over yet.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, I'm glad you're enjoying that.
You know, some guys in my work actually thought it might be a good idea to have a drinking game. So every time you ash on yourself, we have to take a drink of whiskey.
You'd be sober right now.
Well, that's what I said to them. We don't need any help. So
Yes.
I have to say something too. I ash on myself all the time, but I really hate y'all. Y'all jinx me so bad. Because I remember on one of the first segments, y'all said something about dropping your ash in your drink.
Yep,
And I thought, who the hell does that? Because I've never done it. And I swear to God, the next day, I've ashed right in my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're not the first one to say that either, man.
You know
That's
what,
the
though, Ben?
amazing
It
part.
enhances the flavor of the coffee, I found. I mean, you can get upset about it, or you can just keep drinking it and go, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole, think of this, it's a whole new aspect to pairing, right?
It's like that candle that you sent a picture up that smells like cigars, right? It's part of the
experience.
It's part of the experience.
It's like Justin Bieber and your humidor.
Yeah, well,
I know
What
something
is
else.
that about?
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what, guys? Paul
I
put
think
up.
I'm going to end this call right now.
Paul has Bieber fever.
Paul puts up this picture last night of one of his desktop humidors with a little Justin Bieber. I don't know, what was it? Doll?
It was a gift from my friend
Yeah.
who's on one of our other shows that we produce.
I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere.
Uh,
Now,
I-
the amazing thing is, guys, I look at the stats on the site this morning, and what do you think our number one hit is in the last 24 hours?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's Justin Bieber, right?
See? Larry was trying to help us out. Our good friend Larry.
20.1% of our hits in the last 24 hours was that picture.
I was taking pictures of the humidor to show to Tim, and I'm like, we'll put him up on the site. And I'm like, what better to include in your humidor than a Justin Bieber
Show
doll?
the live stream your T-shirt.
Well,
Oh,
just think
yeah.
of it this way. I mean, you're introducing a whole range of 8 to 13-year-old girls to cigars. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, what's
That's
better
what I
than
said
that?
earlier,
I mean,
you
that's
know?
why we're here, is to introduce cigars to new people.
That's absolutely
Wow.
Wow.
This has gone downhill so
It
fast.
just went
If
bad.
my niece starts smoking, I'm blaming you.
Anytime you bring Justin Bieber in the conversation, it just goes downhill fast.
I've never been so scared in my life than I am right now.
Yeah. Oh boy. So.
So what did y'all move on? Y'all spoke of
Oh
something
yeah.
different
So
now?
I lit up. I pulled the Davidoff out of my my humidor. This is a Millennium Blend,
Very
Oh, nice.
and this is the pyramid size of the Millennium Blend. And I'll hold it up for the camera. I really like the Millennium Blend. I think that there's.
How old is that?
This is brand new.
Okay, how is this?
I went into the local B&M that carries Davidoff, one of a few here in Rhode Island, and you know I've had a lot of the age. We had those. There was a box of Age Robusto Millennium Blends kicking around that were just. I mean, talk about smoking vintage Cubans, and this was better than a lot of vintage Cubans I've ever smoked. It
Yeah.
was awesome cigar. So I that got me into the whole Millennium Blend, and even the newer ones are really good. I have to say, this size is very, very good. Even brand new, I really, really like smoking it because they just ordered these, and they're really good. I like them.
I had some of those 2006s, and oh man, I have to agree with you. They were.
Yeah.
Talk about losing yourself in the smoke. Like they were incredible.
Now, granted, these are probably $18 or so a
Yes.
cigar. They're expensive.
25 if you're in Boston.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean, I
neither-
bought two. I mean, it's. I'd love to go out and buy boxes of them, but they're upwards of $400. In fact, the pyramids you can only buy in boxes at 10, and they're like $220 at least for a box of 10. So they're probably they're $20 a cigar.
I
but
like the Robusto, though, man. The Robusto. Was
those are
solid.
well, box of 25 is $422.
Yes, yes, they are.
Well, we'll have to talk after the show and see if I can get them a little cheaper here for you guys. That's a little crazy.
That'd be great. Yeah, because I mean, at that price, like I said, I actually asked my local B&M. I said, do you have this Millennium Blend in the pyramid size? And they said no. And they placed an order and they made sure they stocked that size for me. And I bought two of them, and I really like them. But I'd only buy a few at that price, I'd only buy a few at a time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a special occasion smoke.
It is. I mean, our rating system, this is kind of a flaw in our rating system, right? Because these are box worthy. But the
But
thing
the
that holds us,
price.
the price is what I would hold people back. To go buy a whole box of them. I mean, you could take that budget, buy a few of the Millennium Blend, take the rest of that budget and go buy stuff that's, equally as fabulous, I
Absolutely.
think. So,
See, I've just never been a big Davidoff fan, and it may be because it's to me, it's what you get for the price. You know, there's so much stuff that's cheaper that I like better. But I have to say, some of the newer stuff coming out, like the white edition. Have y'all had that one?
Not
No,
yet.
I haven't.
No, I saw them on the
Oh
site.
my God, that is awesome. That's a great stick. And
Well,
for me to say a Davidoff is great is saying something.
Yeah, I mean, people that listen to the show know that Stogie Santa works for a local B&M. They don't carry Davidoff, so that's why we're not buying them in, I think, more quantities or getting some of the more special releases.
Yeah, I really enjoy like the white edition, the Pro de Oro, the Colorado Claro, like y'all were talking about.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
good.
one. Brian Hewitt from Stogie Review actually gifted me one at the Atlanta Tweet Up, and I
Nice.
smoked it Christmas Eve. Thought it was phenomenal. It was a double R, the big Churchill one.
Okay, that's the other size I haven't
That's
tried.
the other side,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was phenomenal. I loved it. And then I tried the 100th yesterday, actually, at the shop. Our shop has got the entire line. They got everything. And I thought it was okay. But that white edition is really a spectacular smoke.
I'll have to try and find some of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like I said, just the one you buy a few of, their special occasion kind of thing. I've never had a draw or burn issue with them, and I'm really enjoying this Millennium Blend. I tell you, for a regular production cigar that you're going to spend $20 on, I mean, it's pretty close to being worth that $20. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, for me, though, for that much money, I'd rather smoke one of the Padron Anniversary Editions or something like that. 'Cause
Yes.
that's just more my style, though. You know.
So I had, and I totally agree, in that price range, I would even pay, so I paid about $25 per cigar for the Padron 45th anniversary, and it was a Christmas gift, and a monetary Christmas gift, which, you know, my dad was like, buy yourself a really nice box of cigars. And this is a purchase I've kind of hemmed and hawed about for a while, and I was like, you know, I don't know if I want to spend that much money. At $25 a stick, I bought the box of the Padron 45th anniversary cigars, and you know, since Stogie Santa works there, and you know, he's able to help me out, you get a 10% discount when you buy a box. Some shops don't apply that discount to certain things, like a special release like that. But he let me mix and match. He let me do 5 of the natural wrapper, 5 of the Maduro wrapper. He put a box of 10 together for me. He gave me the box discount, and I was very appreciative of that. And that's one of those cigars I would definitely, you know, that's my splurge one. And at $25 a cigar, you know, it's pretty fabulous.
Yeah, mine's probably the Padron 80th. That cigar is just, I can't get enough of those. I mean, it smokes so phenomenal. Like I said, our local shop, they carry the full Padron line too. It's the cigar shop in Biloxi, Mississippi, here on the Gulf Coast. And the owner, he's absolutely addicted to them. So whenever he's there, you know, we'll go out they got a new patio out back, and it's beautiful out there. We'll sit out there, you know, drinking bourbon. I'm a bourbon guy, or drinking cabs and stuff, and he'll go in there and get a whole box of them, and he'll pass them out to us all. So
Nice.
we've had, yeah, and he's a great owner, definitely. But we just love those sticks.
That is a sexy format too, man. The 80th.
Oh, I
was like-
agree.
Like a double torpedo kind of thing, or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah.
Is it the 85th or the 80th?
I thought it was the
The
80th.
It's the 80th. Yeah, you're right. The 85th is the new one.
Yes,
The
correct.
shorter one. That's the shorter one, yeah.
So the other Mark is in the studio.
Welcome, Mark.
I tell you what, man, that Cuban.
Do we have a microphone? Hold on, Dave.
You read the review? Yeah, put him on the mic.
The other Mark is in the house. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I read the review.
Yeah, I enjoyed that New Year's Day, man. It was perfect.
I'm
Awesome.
glad you liked it,
Thank
man.
you.
That's why I gave it to you.
So what's Mark smoking tonight?
An old 601 Blue Toro.
No, very nice.
Oh, get it away, get it away.
Tim does not like those.
No, I don't.
I don't know what he doesn't see in it, but
Yeah, it's just
I
not
like
my
it.
flavor profile, man. We have Ben and Chris from NiceTightAsh.com on Skype. So
what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, Mark?
Doing great.
So just to give you a preview as to what's might be coming up soon, we'll at least have a review and an opinion of the Opus X BBMF.
okay.
There you go.
Mark is one of his. You know, we all have that list of cigars that are like our what do you call it? Like our bucket list of cigars, or the ones you've always wanted. And on Mark's list, actually, and Mark's got an impressive collection of cigars, and on Mark's list was a BBMF, and I happened to come into a couple of those, so we're going to do a trade, and I think he's convinced me to smoke one. I've been kind of sitting on him for a while and waiting, but he definitely convinced me to smoke one, so I've got the Maduro from 2010, I've got a Maduro from 2009 in the BBMF Opus X. It's like a gigantic Perfecto style cigar in the Opus X format in Maduro. I mean, to find Opus X in Maduro is very rare. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna smoke those. Mark's gonna trade me some stuff for one, and we're gonna probably maybe even tomorrow night. I think we're gonna smoke one.
I'm in.
Yeah, Mark's like yes, yes, let's do it.
Why, oh, why do I live 85 miles away?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on some guests and some interviews coming up, too, soon. So some good stuff coming.
So along those lines, so we'll start with Ben. What's some of your bucket list cigars?
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. And that actually, there is one Opus on there. It's the chili pepper. I'd love to grab one of those and try that out.
Send me your email.
Oh,
Mark,
very
yeah,
good.
I can accommodate that.
I only have one
Nice.
chili pepper in my collection. So
I have 2, and you don't need 2 of those.
yeah, if I had two, I'd be in the same boat as Mark. I'd be like, yeah, I'd definitely trade one. So
Yeah,
what about you, Chris?
I really don't know. I guess a T110. I've never had a T110. I don't know what else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, should have given me more time to think about that one.
Yeah, no worries. I don't think I have a T110 in my collection.
No, that's one I've always. Whenever I heard that they were released, I'd call,
Yeah.
and they'd be out by the time I got the word.
A friend of mine sold me 2 of them at I think like $10 a piece, which is for that cigar is a fantastic price.
Absolutely.
So I have
Chris,
to.
send you mine. I've got one. You can have it.
There
It's
you
not on
go.
a bucket list, but if it's on your bucket list, you got to have it. So
There you go.
Just send it.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes it's all about just expressing what's on your bucket list. I expressed to Stogie Santa. Everyone was talking about that original release Skull and Bones Daisy Cutter from Viaje.
Yep.
God.
And
Fantastic.
Stogie Santa gifted me one, so I have one of those to smoke as well.
So you haven't smoked
It's
it
my
yet?
favorite.
I haven't smoked it yet, and I've heard it's been. Ben and Chris, have you had that particular cigar?
Which one was that again?
This is the Viaje Skull and Bones Daisy Cutter. It was
The
one
original.
of the original first releases of Viaje.
No, I've enjoyed the Viajes I've had, but that's one of the ones that I haven't made it a point to search out all the different stuff. So, maybe soon I'll come across some. But, thinking back to your bucket list thing, the question about bucket lists, a completely unrealistic cigar, never going to have it, but I would love to have, is an original, not an original, but an old Cuban Davidoff.
Oh, yeah, it's on everybody.
Yeah.
I think
Nice.
it's everybody's bucket list,
Yeah.
but just to,
Well,
just to
I
have
think it's that in Dunhill, right?
Yes.
Is the kind of the quintessential bucket list cigars of vintage Cubans. Because the Dunhills were only made between like 1984 and 91 or something before they got bought up and stopped producing.
Yeah, and I felt kind of out of place with your discussions earlier about Cuban cigars because my experience there is really limited. I probably
You and me
all
both,
said-
brother. I mean,
all said and done.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably had 6 different blends. Probably 20 to 30 total Cuban cigars, maybe. But
Yeah,
the
I'm with you,
experience
Chris.
guys were expressing earlier is
Yeah, I'm with you. I haven't really experienced a lot of the vintage Cuban stuff either, and every time I do, it's a very interesting experience.
Well, Chris, that T100, T110 will have some hitchhikers then, I guess.
Oh, bro, you're gonna make me dig.
there you go. Asking
No,
you
I don't
shall
want
receive.
Nothing back. It's a
Nice,
gift.
nice.
But going
Appreciate
back
that, bro.
to the Viaje, so I'm talking about, y'all have had the original Daisy Cutter?
I have.
Neither one of us.
Yeah,
have,
I haven't smoked it yet. Like I said, Stogie Santa just gifted me one. I was in the shop with another good friend of ours, a gentleman named Walt, who seeks out a lot of rare and vintage stuff.
Fellow BOTL.
Yeah, in his collection, he's got a lot of that, and he was smoking one for the first time and was totally blown away. And I probably, like, if I had known what it was at the time, he would have been more than happy to help me out and find some or sell me a couple or trade a couple. But I dropped the ball on it. And then as time progressed, you hear everyone talking about it, how amazing it is. And you're like, wow, I missed the boat on it.
There's been a few of those from Walt.
Yeah.
The pork tenderloin was another.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, like, if y'all, I mean, you're on Twitter enough, you'll see most of the blogger guys call me the Viaje whore. Because I've had every Viaje there ever was. And I was lucky enough whenever, that Daisy Cutter originally came out, Andre Farkas, that owns Viaje, sent me a 5-pack to do a review on before it was released. And I have to say, out of all the Viajes, that one is hands down the best that's ever came out.
That's what I've been told, yeah.
That's what everyone says, yeah.
I think it pretty much put him on the map. I mean, it really did.
It did. I mean, his the first time I ever had a Viaje was at Crescent City Cigars in New Orleans, which is right down the road from me. And Armando Ortiz, the owner, I was there for RTDA, and he said, or IPCPR now, he said, here, you've got to try this cigar. It's an amazing cigar. And he handed me a Viaje Platino Lancero. And I smoked it. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. Of course, it was the day after the show, so I couldn't go back and
get more
and talk to him. But that started from there. I started buying them up nonstop. I got an absolute ton of Viajes sitting in there. And probably the next closest one I would say is a phenomenal stick. And I don't know if they might have some more. It's Tower Cigars 45th anniversary, the exclusive blend they did.
I think those are gone. Yeah, they're gone, man.
They're gone?
They went fast. Because I tried to get them and they were gone.
You know what's interesting along the lines of rare cigars is the SmokingStogie.com and the Cigar Feed merged recently, as most of that follow the blogs know. And they created a new site called HalfWheel.com, and they've reviewed some really interesting cigars, even just recently. I mean, their collection of reviews is very impressive, and they've applied some of the technology from the Cigar Feed where you can sort the reviews by rating and stuff. And one of the ones on their list that got one of the highest ratings is the Casa Fuente Blend Lancero.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I smoked one of those.
phenomenal cigar.
It is just unbelievable. And it's one of those ones you wish you get more of, and they just don't exist.
You suck, Paul.
See, I prefer...
I had one, man.
I much prefer the Bellicosa. I've had a handful of the Lanceros.
Yep.
And actually... I probably have had about 3. And 2 of them were really, really tight draw. I couldn't even hardly get anything out of them.
Yeah, mine smoked
and
good.
The third one was phenomenal. But
Nothing more frustrating than that.
Yeah,
I can't stand it. I like a tighter draw, like Chris was saying. Like what I describe is like a milkshake draw, like you're drawing, a milkshake to a straw.
Yeah,
right.
I love that's perfect for me. But they were just beyond that. That's kind of why Lanceros. I love the size. Like the Oliva Series V, the Lancero is my favorite. But you're rolling the dice. Is it going to be a great one, or is it going to be plugged where you can't even smoke it?
Yeah. Lanceros are tough, man.
Yeah.
Love them, though.
But when they're on.
When they're on, they're on. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. We're getting ready to round out the show. Thank you guys very much for being on. Of course, you can find Chris and Ben and the entire crew over at nicetightash.com. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's been fun, man.
Yep.
Good
we love
fun.
Podcast. Great podcast I'll do.
Thank you very much. So, like I said, we'll round things out, and you can catch us on the web at StogieGeeks.com. You can find this podcast. You can listen to it right on our website. You can subscribe through iTunes. You can check out our video, which we're doing now. We've got a dedicated video set up to this studio and this podcast now. You can find that all on our website and on our blip.tv channel. And find us on Twitter, Stogie Geeks, where we post all kinds of craziness.
Email us, stogiegeeks@gmail.com.
One of the Twitter followers said we reached 666 followers.
That was me, actually.
And we should smoke the Fausto
Yes.
in honor of that, which we didn't.
Kind of creeped
Shame
me
on
out,
us.
though. Number 666 was a lawyer.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see everyone on the next episode.
Good night.
I usually stay away from the stuff with a lot of flavor, but I like this.
Petey?